I am joined now by the lovely Cambry Nelson, who you may know from Twitter. She's a real journalist in the 2017 sense. She's all over it. She's actually out in the field. She does a great job. She can be found on Twitter at CamVTV. And I got to know her a little bit when we were both in RSBN when that was going well over there before the election. Let's get to know her. I have a feeling this won't be the only time she's on here unless she gets too busy and goes on to bigger things. But I really respect the work she's doing, and we're going to talk to her about a number of issues. Cam, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam, for having me on today.
So it's not that unusual that, a tweet that you make gets a lot of play, and that was the case in the last 24 hours. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to start with USAA and Sean Hannity,
Right.
Tell us what's going on there.
Well, what's happening is we've been fighting a battle for the last year. I know everybody knows the media bias that's going on, the incidents that's been happening in the DNC party, the cover-ups that are taking place, the media twisting everything, making it based around the narrative that they want to push, covering up lies, pushing lies. They won't report the facts. And so, all of this stuff has come out over the last year. We know that there's a movement to push this whole Russia agenda, and they're blaming everything on Russia. And, during the election, there was a murder that took place with Steph Rich. The DNC was, as we all know, the DNC was hacked. They blamed Russia, of course. And then apparently, as we all know, because I always say this, Adam, that you can never outrun a lie. I don't care who you are, you can never outrun a lie. And so when this took place, stuff is starting to come up. People had information, and I think you and I both would know if we were dealing with something in a situation where we had somebody that could have been possibly been the leaker, that had leaked the information, the DNC emails, and that person ended up murdered, and they called it a robbery, and shot in the back, and nothing was taken from him. It looks quite interesting. And if this guy had information, I probably would think, knowing that you're fighting with the left, it could be pretty dangerous, that you would probably have some backup. So now coming back to current time, there's been some information, some revealing information that's come up. And we have Kim.com coming out and talking about it. Sean Hannity heard about the information. Apparently, Steph did confide in people, and he was the leaker that provided the information to WikiLeaks to be able to produce the information. And from that point on, and this is how the media works, and a lot of people don't understand how the media works, is the media is supposed to report on it. And when Sean Hannity heard about the information, of course, and knowing him, he would never speak out and say anything unless he had the facts for it. That is their job. Their job is not to take the information and spin it. That's what CNN, MSNBC, ABC News does. He got the information. He started tweeting about it first and foremost. Secondly, he started talking about on his radio show, and he didn't even mention it on Fox. Well, when a journalist that is actually pushing for Donald Trump or is pushing for the truth, the one thing the left likes to do is silence it. And a lot of people don't really realize how in bed Fox News is with the Democrats. I mean, let's look at the Murdoch sons. The Murdoch sons, their wives are all Clinton supporters. They run Fox News. So when that takes place and truth is starting to come out, they go on a smear campaign. And Fox News right now is who the left is going after. We have seen every person from Fox News that has come out and spoken out with the truth is something that can be quite controversial. They want to get rid of them. So it happened to Bill O'Reilly, and Bill O'Reilly, he's gone. And now USAA is coming out, and they actually made a statement just stating that, they are not there. And apparently, it doesn't say in their contract, but apparently Sean is not allowed to have personal views. Well, if you go back and take a look at it like I have, Sean's been talking about this on social media, and he's been covering it on his radio show. Those are two completely different separate entities from Fox News and radio. So how do they kick somebody off the news? To silence them, to shut them up, is advertisers start pulling away from advertising during their show, and then there's a backlash. But the problem, Adam...
Thanks for getting our show's name in there, by the way. We're, of course, Backlash on Shark Nation Radio. We'll definitely have you on again. Keep going.
No, it is. It's a backlash. But this is what we do. I mean, this is what's happened with the Trump train. And this is what's crazy. The Trump train is crashing companies. Not only that, they're making people that are on runways at movie awards and TV awards, they're making them stars. They're doubling and tripling them. So this is a media war. This is silencing the right, and this is the left trying to get in and silence Sean Hannity, because we do believe, and we pretty much know for a fact, that this was an inside job. So what they want to do is remove him, and the American people it's backfiring, especially USAA.
I think so.
Sean, it's going. How can it not? I don't know how it can't.
Well, I think it's interesting because I see almost the same thing between Fox News as Media Matters. Rupert Murdoch's getting old. He probably should have just given his kids trust funds and found someone to keep his vision, assuming Rupert Murdoch ever really cared about anything more than the bottom line in the first place, which I'm not sure he did. But I think Media Matters is being taken for a ride. I think they're overreaching in this case. You know, it's a little different because what do you want me to tell you, that the sexual harassment didn't occur at Fox News? I mean, my guess is where there's smoke, there's fire in that. And there's certainly where there's $15 million in payouts, there's fire. This is questioning journalism. You know, it's a totally different matter than what they went after Ailes and O'Reilly for. And I don't know.
Right. I mean,
it's different.
It's a double standard. We have a double standard. CNN can get rid of Donna Brazile, but she stays on at the DNC. But let's talk about Jake Tapper's producer. Let's talk about everybody.
Who are you talking about?
This season. And CNN. Let's talk about that. So it's a double standard when it comes to
tell me,
Fox News,
Jake Tapper's producer. What's going on there?
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know, including me.
Yeah, there's a lot of, but I don't watch CNN anymore. I just get updates. But when the DNC was colluding with CNN, I mean, Jake Tapper wasn't directly communicating all of the time to the DNC. It was his producers. It was his editors. It was people at CNN. It was people high up. So there was a major collusion taking place, which really producers should be gone. Jake Tapper should be gone. I mean, Martha Raddatz should be gone. All of these people should be gone. It's a double.
Donna Brazile should be in jail, in my opinion. I'm not sure what the charge would be, but something.
No, she should be in jail. Yeah, she has to be. No one is held accountable on the left. It's almost like if you're a Democrat, you get a free ride. You break the law, you get a free ride. You body slam a person and you're a Republican, you're going to jail. I mean,
I don't think. Well, he's not going to jail. Wait, he's not. There was only a misdemeanor citation. Okay, we'll talk about that in a few minutes too.
Yeah, no, I'm just making reference. That's pretty. It's a double standard.
Actually, we'll get back to that. Wait, Cam. I want to talk about Montana. I think what happened there is, a result. The fact that he's going to win, quite possibly by more of a margin than he was polling, is a total reaction to the left's excesses. My guess is the Republican candidate did something he shouldn't have done there. I mean, look, you're going to be provoked a little bit if you're in public life. You don't respond that way. The guy's clearly a twerp, but you're going to come across that. But people are going to rally to his side because they're so sick of the media. If the media were fair, I don't think people would be rallying to Greg Gianforte's side the way they are. They'd be like, there's something wrong with this guy. That's just my personal take.
Yeah, I could nothing past the left. I told people during the election, I said, if you think the election was bad, get prepared for the war. Because this is war taking place. So the left is going to pull out all stops. They will provoke, they will push, they will do anything, and they will make sure when something happens that they catch it to make sure that the Democrat actually looks like a victim. So, right now we don't have any video footage, anything to go off of, and that's one thing the left cannot provide. It's just all verbiage. But yeah, that's all we have. So it happened the day before, but I expect it. Look, this is the battle that we're fighting. So yeah, should he have not done that? Yes. Do I know what happened prior? No, I don't really know. You don't body slam a guy. But
and you don't punch him afterward either, for that matter. But you know what? Hey, the left had it coming. They've been crying wolf so many times. Think about all the rallies where they said, oh, those racist Trump supporters beat up this innocent black man, when he's sitting there cursing at and spitting at people, and like someone, wanted to protect his wife. And then they say, oh, obviously every Trump supporter is racist. Those are the excesses that create the crying wolf situation that just occurred in Montana. I don't care. And then he probably was there to provoke him, but reporters do that sometimes,
Well, and not only that, there's the left is planting stuff everywhere.
but that's to be expected.
That's what they're doing. I mean, this is a no-name journalist that people really don't know who they are. And this comes out the day before the election. So, I mean, we've seen this happen. I've seen it happen right in front of my face in events here in California. Everything is completely fine, and then all of a sudden I see a camera crew waiting in the corner, and all of a sudden a crazy woman comes up in KTLA, boom, they walk up with their cameras. So a lot of this is just propaganda, and it's motivated to get news out there to smear the right. So that's the talk of the day.
That's part of why I like doing this. I mean, I like being on camera, but this is basically quasi-radio. You can have intelligent conversations with people and really discuss it and not do the cheap tricks. We have enough time to talk of these things through, and it's not the gotcha journalism. And I enjoy that, and that's one thing we're doing here. You mentioned California, and we're not running out of time, but I want to make sure I give you more than enough time to talk about all the activities you're doing in Southern California, which is sort of the belly of the beast out there, and you're really stepping up, and there's a lot going on. I'm not there, so I'd love to hear about what's going on with the Trump train out in California and all the citizen journalism going on and all the various things that are occurring out there.
Oh, it's funny because we probably do the most outrageous stuff here in the state of California, and it's funny.
That's nothing new.
We do, but it's funny because we're the Trump train, and there's a big. What we're seeing out here on the ground is, yes, the media does pipe a lot of stuff up. Yes, there are people that are, if you are wearing a red "Make America Great Again" hat, boom, they're going to try to come after you. But here's the thing: is we decided going into this election that the only way we're going to beat the left is if we have to play fire against fire. So if we start using some of the same tactics against the left, they're not going to expect it. But not only that, and I'm going to be quite honest here, the GOP in California, I'm not impressed whatsoever. Some of them are great, and some of them will block you on social media if you're going for a Republican candidate here.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is a lot of the uniparty, but we have big events that are going on. One of the massive events we had going on a couple of weeks ago, there was about a couple of months ago, there was about 2,000 people marching for Donald Trump in Huntington Beach. That's a big event. We've got a event happening tomorrow. Of course, at Berkeley, they're trying to silence everyone. Everybody shows up and they speak on free speech. And lo and behold, a lot of people don't know that some of the people that are showing up at our free speech events are actually Democrats that are there and they promote free speech. Then we've got an anti-Sharia march that we are doing on the 10th in San Bernardino. We're doing it in downtown San Bernardino. The 3rd, we're doing another March for Trump, March for America. We're expecting thousands of people. We have people that are putting up posters all over. We have more people engaged in California than they've ever had in any sort of election. But this was the biggest kicker for me, is when we all got together, I was the minority. And I thought, my gosh, there are Asians, there are Hispanics, there are Blacks, there are... Oh, the minority.
I've heard that's particularly the case in Southern California. Obviously, Southern California is pretty diverse to begin with. But I think there was a New York Times article about, and the New York Times reported this apparently fairly, that they went to a Trump office expecting to see white males everywhere in L.A. And it was totally diverse, like every group. Maybe they even had an Eskimo there. I don't know. But
we got everything here. And it's cool because they can't call us racist. And it's funny, but sometimes they do. But, the diversity here is so amazing. And we're starting to see some of the more liberal areas starting to turn. We have some of Beverly Hills that are turning. Parts of San Bernardino County, which is the largest county in California, is massive. It's slowly getting a little bit more red. But now we have the fight for Orange County. In Orange County, we are seeing people here actually starting to stack illegals in Orange County and all these different homes so they can vote Democrat. So it is a battle. It is insane. Some of the things that, La Raza is doing down south is absolutely disgusting and illegal and right under people's noses, and they have no idea. But it's exciting to see the movement. And when you're on a street and you've got Trump flags and Trump signs and 300 people on a corner, all four corners of a street, and you hear honking and honking and honking and thumbs up. I mean, there are more secret Trump supporters here than most people can actually imagine. A lot of people just do it in silence.
I may ask you a question here you don't know the answer to, but it did take place in California. And there is a racial component on the Democrat side, too, like almost a turf war between white wacko liberals, blacks, and Hispanics. And I heard it was a little controversial. They shut down Mad Maxine Waters at the state convention, and black Democrats were not too happy about that. I don't know if you heard anything about that story, but Rush was talking about it maybe 2 days ago. Were you familiar with that? If not, it's okay. I mean, I didn't tell you we were going to talk about it, but maybe you heard.
No, that's okay. No, I've heard about it, and I didn't dig too deep into it because the lady is just so insane here. Yeah. But that's definitely happening here. And honestly, the people that are pushing that narrative is the left. You're not seeing that come from the right whatsoever, but there is more so not so much in the Southern California. Once you get a little bit north of Los Angeles, that's where you're really starting to see it. But they don't really talk about it on television here locally. That's what's interesting is you really don't hear about it. But more people are stepping up, and we've got people, and my friend Omar Navarro, he's actually...
Oh, you know Omar. Okay.
Yeah, we do events together. I was just with him this past weekend in L.A. at a barbecue on the beach, and Omar is running against Maxine Waters. So she's pushing division. I mean, that's the one thing that the left is doing. They want to make sure that they push division, this so far right, this so far left. It's just ugly rhetoric that's being pushed, and it's almost like they're trying to start a war here. That's what they're trying. And I said that over the last year on radio. I said, guys, listen, the left is doing everything they possibly can to start a civil war, but we have to be the bigger people and not let that happen. And so far to the state, it hasn't happened. Americans are upset. The silent majority is upset. We want our voices to be heard. People are having this awakening moment where they're realizing the propaganda and the dirtiness, that the politicians are snakes, the politicians are liars, the politicians are paid off, the politicians are pushing diversity, but diversity in their own different sectors. I mean, They're doing this, and then they're wrapping it all in one. Exactly. That's what they're doing. People are waking up right now, and it's taking us a long time to get there. But Maxine Waters has a run for her money right now. The more crazy she gets, and it's not done. We're going to be going to Maxine Waters town with about 400 or 500 of us, and we're going to be doing an Omar March and Trump March. So
love it. Can I come back to something we talked about before? Just a tweet you had yesterday, and I think it's just important we talk about it a little more. Let me just read the tweet, and then you can take it from there. We aren't called the silent majority for nothing. We grow companies or we crash them. Call them in support of Sean Hannity, Wednesday Wisdom. What do you want people to do? What companies do you want people to focus on in particular?
Well, I mean, honestly, we saw what happened with Target, what happened with Starbucks. You know, when companies go out and they start silencing people's free speech, that's basically allowing the left to control the narrative, and we know that because that's typically what we've seen over the last year. And I put a tweet at CamVTV with all the list of the companies that you need to call, and you need to show your support for Sean Hannity, because some of these people don't realize that we're crashing stock markets. I mean, Target stock market is the worst it has ever been over the bathroom laws. And people need to realize the one thing that Americans have not done, and I think it's happening more, is you've got to voice your opinion. The most powerful thing that we have is our opinions. And if you do support Sean Hannity, you go find that list of all of his advertisers, and you call them and say, I support Sean Hannity. I support real journalism. I support investigative journalism. I support this. You go and support that. And USAA supports our veterans and our military. There's no better advocate than Sean Hannity for that. So to see them pull away. So
despite what Debbie Schletzel says, by the way. That's a piece of work right there. Go on.
Right. I mean, no, it's okay, but that's what I mean. Is voice be heard. Do not be silent, and do not let the left shut you up. Cannot let that happen. You have to be bold, and that's what they said. And it's happening so far. We have 2 companies so far, and I can't remember the names off the top of my head. They were going to pull back, but they're staying in the game.
Yeah, well, Cam, you certainly have been bold, and we're going to want to talk to you again and again. But in closing here, just a quick question. You have, 58,000 followers on Twitter, so you're doing something right. You know something about Twitter. I'm just curious. My go-to people on Twitter are really Jack Posobiec, Paul Joseph Watson. Who else am I forgetting? Someone I'm blanking on. Oh, Mike Cernovich and Stefan Molyneux to a lesser extent. Who are your go-tos besides those on Twitter that people really need to follow if there are only so many that they can follow closely?
One of the people, oh my goodness, there's so many people that I do follow.
I know, but the first that come to mind.
Oh my goodness, who's some of the first that comes to mind? Actually, one of the people that just started writing for, I go to Joe Biggs. Joe Biggs is a very authentic type of guy that gets out there. Joe Biggs is one of the guys that I really do follow. I stay and I watch really closely with, of course, we all know like Fox News and stuff. I'm trying to think of everybody that I follow. I mean, I follow.
No. I don't have time for that. I have another guest I got to put on at the end of the show. Not everyone you follow, because that's 943 people I'm looking at right now, and certainly not everyone who follows you. That would take days to cover.
No, I don't even know all the list of people that I follow, but I definitely, Joe Biggs is one of them. Irma Minosa is that I follow them.
I've seen that name a few times. I don't really know her too well.
Okay, I'll tell you one guy everyone has to follow, because I don't follow some of the main people. I follow investigative journalists that are down on the ground. Nick Short. If you do not follow Nick Short, he has intel knowledge of what is going on a major scale, politically, everything that's happening with inside the White House, outside. Nick Short is probably one of my biggest go-to followers, because he is so wise when it comes to past presidents, laws, what they have done, and then when Trump does something, he can bring it back with what the past. I mean, Nick Short is, I have to say, one of my favorites. Nick Short is.
Nick Short. I just looked him up. I didn't even know him. I just started following him at your recommendation. So Mr. Short, and I guess Kim.com doesn't need the publicity, really. He's doing pretty well this week.
No, he really doesn't. Brian Fraser is really good. Eagle Wings is really good. Kristen Biltmore is really good. Those are really good people. Of course, follow Circa. Circa News is covering, and they're unfolding the unmasking that is taking place with the Obama administration. Circa's getting their hands dirty on what is really going on, and they're revealing everything. So Circa News is good, but just follow Nick Short too.
At a certain point, when you give us information like that, it doesn't matter if CBS isn't giving you the information. It doesn't matter if Fox News. The information's out there if you want it, to a certain extent, that you only have yourself to blame if you're not really making the minimal effort.
And there's one more, because I don't necessarily just follow American journalism, because a lot of this stuff is censored in the United States. I follow the Duran, D-U-R-A-N, the Duran.com. You get a lot of information of what's going on outside of the United States and how they spin it here. To make it fit the narrative of the United States. So the Duran is really good. So that's another one that I really follow too.
And I mean, we're pretty close here at Backlash with a few Israeli sources, but there are plenty that are not in America, Canada, and Israel that are probably worth following as well, because I have Canadians on all the time. All right, any final thoughts, Cam, before I let you go?
Yeah, final thoughts, you guys. There's a lot going on. We haven't gotten to the specifics of anything, but get out there, advocate, do thorough research on who is running in your local area, because I'll tell you this, there's something that the Democrats are up to right now. And while the American people are looking up at who's running for Senate, Congress, governors, the Democrats are infiltrating as mayors. That is the goal. That has been
and DAs in Philadelphia. DAs in Philadelphia.
Right. And you've got to know who is running for mayor, because that is what the Clintons, the Soros have been wanting to do. They've gone over that on a weekend. Whole event is look at who is running for mayor, because while we are looking up, they are sliding right underneath us. That's where we've got to start, keep our focus, and get out there and vote for 2018 and find out who's running in your area and make sure that their values align up with yours. Because I'll tell you, we're in for the fight of our life for 2018 to keep the House. For 2020, it's going to be World War III. So do your homework, get involved, speak up, and do not let the left silence you, and be brave. Thank you, Adam, so much for
having you on, Cam. Looking forward to having you on again.
Thank you.